This is the best.
There you go. Okay.
You know what? That was amazing. It was terrible.
I don't know what that was.
I neither do I, but we're live.
We are.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's
All right,
roll.
Here we go.
In this episode of the Motor City Hypnotist podcast. Sorry, folks. We just had this intro video come up that we're like, what is this? That's not my video. But
It was all StreamYard. It was not me. I promise.
yeah. I don't know what was going on. Anyway, we're here doing a podcast, and special treat tonight. We have a special guest in-house, Terica Lewis. She's a therapist in my office. She's a licensed professional counselor and a certified sex therapist. And we're going to start talking about that. What does that mean? What does that involve?
I have been
what goes into that?
I have been so excited for this episode for
weeks. I'm sure you have.
I bet you have.
I really have.
Waited a long time for this.
Oh, good for you.
Matt was just excited because he gets to talk about sex.
Sexy time.
Anyway, that's our special guest, folks. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
This sounds like something for the authorities in Detroit.
The joke's on you. I'm living to 102 and then die, like the city of Detroit.
Guys like this take over here out of Detroit.
Spawn and the hellfires of Motown. Take him to Detroit.
No, not Detroit. No, please. Anything but that. No.
Stationed in Drambuie. It's worse than Detroit.
We did not have, as a unit, the confidence that we felt like we needed to beat Detroit.
Let's go to Detroit.
Now you're talking, brother.
I don't think so. He plays for Detroit now.
Do they have many farms in Detroit?
Detroit to Michigan.
I go to school. I know where Detroit is.
Get ready for the Motor City Hypnotist, David R. Wright, originating from the suburbs of Detroit, Michigan. He has hypnotized thousands of people from all over the United States. David R. Wright has been featured on news outlets all across the country and is the clinical director of an outpatient mental health and hypnosis clinic located just south of Detroit, where he helps people daily using the power of hypnosis. Welcome, the Motor City Hypnotist, David R. Wright.
What is going on, my friends? This is David Wright, the Motor City Hypnotist, and we are back with another episode of the Motor City Hypnotist podcast.
Yes, we are.
That is Matt Fox, the other voice you hear. And we also have with us a special guest today, Terica Lewis.
Hello.
She is with us as well. We're here in the palatial Podcast Your Voice, Southfield Studios, hanging out, doing a podcast as we typically do on Monday evenings at 8-ish. Let's say 8-ish.
Terica, I'm so excited that you're here. You showed up on time.
I did.
and thank you for that.
You're so welcome.
We did a man cave prior.
We did, yeah.
And Terica's like, man cave, what's that? I'm like, hey, whiskey, cigar, spirits.
It's an excuse for four guys to get together and drink.
It's a bunch of middle-aged guys just,
a reason to hang out and drink.
Yeah,
on a Monday night. Yes,
yeah, on a Monday night.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
all righty, folks, we're here. Let me tell you first where you can find me. My website is motorcityhypnotist.com. Check that out. We are right in the midst of prom and grad season. Headed to Iowa this weekend, Dyersville. Matt, Dyersville, Iowa.
That is the home of something.
Field of Dreams.
That is correct.
Field
we talked about that
Field.
last episode.
Yeah, we did.
It's been a week.
So I'm gonna try to get there because I've told you my story probably on this podcast. I'm sure I have, but I've been to Dyersville. It's a show I've done before. But every time I go to the field, something happens. Like the first time I went to the field, it was a blizzard that weekend and the field was covered in snow.
Oh, wow.
Last year I was in Dyersville. I thought, I'm going to get there.
Didn't it
see it
rain?
I parked, walked onto the field. Boom! Storm just starts downpouring. And I have to run back to my car and leave.
You started a storm?
I did, apparently. Being on that field must have done something.
So what's going to happen this time?
Must have been mad at me.
Is it going to be locusts?
I'm going to hope. I'm going to hope that it's just a sunny day. Now there is a downfall of going early because, it's a cornfield, but corn gets harvested in the fall,
right.
So there's no corn in the outfield.
Right.
It's just barren.
So it's just angels. It's just angels out there.
Wrong movie.
Oh,
but
shit.
you're okay. You're okay, Matt.
Oh, good for you.
It's crazy.
No, don't shut me up.
I'm trying over here.
So anyway,
really
heading to Dyersville this weekend for a post-prom show. And so anyway, long story short, if you're in need of entertainment for your prom or your grad night, we're right into it. So if somebody canceled on you or somebody flaked out or you don't have anything, go to the website and get a quote in minutes and actually book it online and have your time reserved.
There you go.
Nice
My
prom.
Facebook and YouTube are both Motor City Hypnotist, and on Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok, which are all Motor City Hypno. That is HYPNO.
Hypno.
And as we've done, going back all the way to episode 1, and we're on episode 303 today.
Yeah.
Your free hypnosis guide. Text the word hypnosis to 313-800-8510. In a few minutes, you'll receive a text with your hypnosis guide attached. It will also give you a link to leave a review. That's my business page, my Google business page for Motor City Hypnotist. So you can leave a review of the podcast. You can leave a review if you've seen me in a show. You can leave a review if you've seen me as a client.
Or on the street.
Reviews for anything.
Whatever.
Whatever I've done, you can leave a review for it. And that would be very helpful. And the big thing, whatever platform you're on, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, definitely connect, subscribe, link, whatever you have to do on your platform. But the big thing is leave a review because that helps us grow and it helps us get to more people.
Yep.
All right. I think that covers all the nonsense.
It
well, it's not really
covers-
nonsense, but you know what I mean. But it is
Very
time.
informational.
Yes.
That's how winning is done.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
So, back to it.
All right. What's the story?
All right. So this story.
Wow, that was quick.
I know. It was quick. And we're not done with it yet.
No,
So
we're not.
I threw that in. I was kind of throwing you off, Matt, because I know you were ready to roll. So.
I am so ready to roll.
So anyway, a 2-year-old was reported missing in the Arizona high desert on Monday and was found in part thanks to a local rancher's dog, a big fluffy Pyrenees named Buford.
Buford the Pyrenees.
Buford the Pyrenees dog.
Found a 2-year-old in the desert.
Little Bowden Allen wandered off his parents' property in Saligman into mountain lion country at around 5 p.m. Monday evening. Yavapai County Search and Rescue conducted a 16-hour search long into Tuesday morning.
What the heck?
Ranger Scotty Dutton was surprised enough when he saw Buford wandering up a ranch track with little Bowden in tow.
Wait. So the Pyrenees,
The Pyrenees went out and found this kid and brought him back.
How was he on a leash?
Well, I don't know. That's the whole thing. So Ranger Scotty Dutton was surprised enough when he saw Buford wandering up the ranch track with little Bowden in tow, but was even more surprised when the boy explained the ordeal he'd just gone through.
Okay.
I asked him, did you walk all night long? And he said, no, I slept under a tree, Dutton told 12 News Arizona. And I said, well, did my dog find you? And he goes, yep. And he said he followed the dog back to the house.
What the? A 2-year-old.
Yeah, 2-year-old. Yeah.
Followed a dog to a tree where he slept for a couple of hours and then got up and followed
the dog home.
Back to the house.
Yeah. He knew the child had been reported missing and was so grateful to be able to find him, realizing only later that the boy had wandered for 7 miles before Buford found him.
Okay, so how did Buford catch this kid
7 miles away?
The scent from the 2-year-old. How did he find him?
Dutton added in between television interviews that tough desert terrain, multiple canyons and gorges, and dangerous wildlife lie between his house and Bowden's, an area about 100 miles south of the Grand Canyon.
Can I call BS a little bit?
A little bit.
Maybe. Okay, here, we'll get some more details. Bowden had wandered away while his mother was changing her other son's diaper, and his father was doing some work around the house.
That's how he found the scent.
Oh, no. I don't know. Well, that would have been the kid in the house.
Right.
Yeah. Unless you wipe crap on him and send him out. But
hey,
I don't know.
There are worse things. But
search and rescue utilized more than one helicopter in the hunt for Bowden. At one point, the pilot noticed there were 2 mountain lions following one of the search parties, highlighting the dangers that the area could pose to a 2-year-old.
What the actual F, man?
There were about 1,000 ways for that to go, really, really bad, and one good way. And luckily, it turned out to be the good way, Dutton said. For Buford, whose total involvement was unclear, it probably seemed like just another day on the farm, only this time it led to a steak dinner.
Wow.
The dog got a steak dinner.
Well, for finding a 2-year-old
Right,
7
yeah.
miles away and then leading him back.
So
yeah.
Matt, you and I, we've talked about this. We see that we do these stories every podcast. We do a story like this. And oftentimes we're like, we want more. We have more questions.
I have
so many more questions
so
to
many
ask.
questions right now.
But Buford the dog. You want to see a picture of Buford?
Yeah, let's see.
Here's Buford.
All right. So, big dog. He could fight off a couple of mountain lions, I think.
Probably if he had to.
Buford given a shirt, something to smell.
No, they didn't clarify. It doesn't say in the story.
Buford, go find kid. Okay.
Kid follow Buford home. Okay.
Okay.
But it seems like the dog and the kid were just doing their own thing and he found them. I mean, yeah. I know these stories raise a lot.
That's
of
that's some homeward bound bullshit,
but
right there.
But that is
TV show, definitely.
That is a cool story. So anyway, definitely winner of the week.
Thank you.
That's how winning is done.
Yes.
So
now here you go, Matt.
Thank you.
Yes, all right.
Thank you, Negan. It's
Crazy.
crazy.
What are you people? On dope?
All right, so
No, not on dope yet. But
Nope, not yet. So I'm gonna sit back and just listen to the amazing conversation that's about to happen about.
All right. So let me introduce
yes,
Terica.
please.
Terica Lewis is a therapist. We've been working together for a good 20 years, probably.
Yes.
I mean, way back. We were at this clinic that was a joke back at the time. It was a mess. I'm just saying. And I don't know
But
why.
you cleaned up really well.
We did. We ended up making something of the mess that was left. And that's how we've been working together and became friends all those years ago. So Terica's a licensed professional counselor, same license as myself, but she's also a certified sex therapist.
Sure.
Now, when people hear that, first reaction is
you teach
what they
people how
see
to
on
have
TV,
sex.
you show them sexual techniques or positions.
So what are some of the things that folks will come to you like when they hear sex therapists? Is what's their immediate reaction?
Well, no, Matt wants to know the inappropriate reaction.
No.
Oh no, you don't.
I want to know the actual reaction that you think that you're going to receive.
I don't know what we're yelling about.
From your patient or from the couple that's sitting in front of you. What are some of the things that you do to kind of introduce them to what you do as a sex therapist?
So each client is different. So when a client comes in front of me, I don't get inappropriate.
Of course not.
Right, because they know exactly what they want. It's the people that just hear sex therapist.
Right.
You teach people how to have sex? What you do? Have sex with them? Are you a freak?
Oh no. But see, that's this mindset that I wanted to kind of dispel right up front. That,
thank you for
I mean, you see TV shows and it's like, oh, well, there's a sex therapist. They're,
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't even point to anything specific.
We can tongue in cheek all we want,
sure,
but when
sure.
it comes to the actual need of a couple, and for a sex therapist, what are some of the you have a big job in front of you.
I do.
To understand, what each partner is interested in and how they should communicate with one another. So you've got a very big job in front of you. So what are some of the things, and I'm going to jump right into it,
sure,
that you really kind of hone in on to start a session with a couple, if you will?
Communication.
Okay.
And understanding
Mm-hmm.
what he or she is really asking for.
So let's start with ladies first in my world. So let's
Okay.
start with the she. So what are some of the things in your experience that are coming to the table and what they're I'm just gonna totally jump into
No.
this.
I love it.
But here's the thing.
I love it.
Because this could be the answer to most therapists would give the same answer, I'm guessing.
All right.
So she is not feeling desired.
Okay.
She's
Mhm.
not feeling appreciated.
Right.
She's
Okay.
not feeling wanted.
Mm.
She's not feeling pretty. So
So
the
there's
sex desire isn't there.
all right. So there's a reason why they're at that point of
Definitely.
they're not feeling desired, they're not feeling wanted, they're not feeling like their partner's into them. So I have to say this. What are they doing to communicate to their partner?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
That's the issue.
Absolutely
Yeah,
nothing.
I'm putting it out there. and I'm
I've
asking
said
these
it.
questions
I
for a
told
reason.
you over and over again. And he says, what are you telling me?
I just
Take out the
told you.
trash, mow the lawn.
But see, here's the thing, and you'll agree. I'm sure maybe you might disagree, Terica. I don't think you will, but here's the thing, because men think differently than women.
Definitely.
And for men, it's all about the physical satisfaction. And in general, now there are exceptions to every rule, but I'm going to assume women need more of a connection. Emotional connection to have sex with someone.
Yes.
Yes,
right.
Very much so.
Yes.
And if I don't feel that emotional connection, the desire of sex, the need for sex, the want for sex is not there.
So how often does a male think about sex on the daily? How often is that on his mind? Once a minute? Once every...
I mean, studies have said,
throughout the day,
many times a day.
Can't wait to get home.
Right. And that's something that you combat against and that men combat against, because they like physical connection, where women love the emotional connection.
Yes.
So what are some of the things that you help a gentleman to understand and how to connect with his partner, his wife, emotionally to help them understand where she's at?
In the office of professional.
Okay.
It's all about communication.
It's got
it just always go back to that. What are you asking me for? What are you saying to me that you're not saying to me? How do me as a therapist get the man to understand what she is saying without saying it, without knowing how to say it, and learning how to say it and how he is hearing that?
Yeah, I got it.
What he hears,
not what he sees.
Not what he sees, what he hear. Because you said you wanted flowers, here's flowers. But she's saying, I want you to want to buy me flowers.
I want you to take the initiative.
Exactly.
Yes.
I want you to figure out what is my favorite flower.
Yeah.
Tulips.
Well, no, just because you've seen somebody else buy me tulips don't mean I like tulips.
Or tulips. Which is it?
Or both.
Oh, great Odin's raven. What in blazes are you talking about?
No,
but see, here's the thing, in this kind of in this is not in any way minimizing, but most of the time when there are communication issues in relationships, the physical relationship falters.
It does.
They just go hand in hand. And again, men, most of the time they'll think, oh, well, she says I don't do enough work around the house, or I don't do the dishes, or I don't take the trash out.
That's just normal daily routine.
But these things, that's not the real issue. The issue is being concerned about your partner, so that, oh, I do these things because I love my partner, not because I'm going to get yelled at if I don't do them. It's a whole different interaction.
Yes. However,
go on.
If I don't do these things, he may yell at me.
She may yell at me.
Or she may yell. Yeah. If I don't have sex, I'm going to be ignored for 2 days.
Right.
If I don't give him what he wants, then I'm going to be in the doghouse. So men are not always in the doghouse. Women are too.
Oh, yeah.
So
there are two different roads here, two different lanes, if you will, and they have to interconnect.
Well, yeah, and there is overlap, and
the communication is what always falls apart.
Right.
So what are some of the things that you help couples with on the communication side? What is the the most basic thing that you can help a couple understand how to communicate?
First, I ask for a definition, and the most I hear is the talking part. No one's listening.
What?
No one's listening.
What?
Did you hear what I said? No one's listening.
What?
So that's what it's like. So in the definition of communication, we forget that listening is the other half of it. And if I'm only talking and I'm not listening, what am I actually hearing? What am I understanding? 2
monologues don't make a dialogue.
It does.
Well, and I can add to that, listening. Yes, you need to listen, but you also need to you need to remember. You can listen to somebody,
yes,
but you need to take what you're given and do something with it.
Right.
Or listen to understand and not to respond.
Right.
Or how not to respond negatively.
Yes. But we communicate with our emotions. So if you say something I don't like, or I don't understand, or I didn't want to hear, I can't believe you said that to me, I'm going to respond with that and not with what's actually on the table.
Yeah. And I know communication breakdown happens. So here's the thing, and a lot of things I run into with couples, and let me throw this at you.
Go ahead.
As they get older, and when I say older, I'm talking like, 40s, 50s, 60s, into adulthood. And a lot of times the physical part of sex, it's not as I'm trying to think good for it's not as pertinent as it would have been in younger years for a lot of people. Either they start having self-image issues or old issues, or for men, erectile dysfunction comes into play, and they get insecure.
Are coming. Yep.
And so a lot of these things play into, for a lot of couples that don't have a good intimate relationship, it's all of these things that come into play.
And watch this.
Yeah.
Because I don't say that to you, their lack of communication again stops that. Because I don't want to go to you and say, well, I don't feel like I did when I was 20. I don't feel like I did when I was 22. Instead, I'm saying you're not doing the things you used to do. It's easier to blame you than myself.
Oh. Sure. I mean,
your
and that's
fault.
No, it's your fault.
No, it's really your fault.
It's everybody's fault because they're not communicating.
but these things come into play, and you're right. It would be very difficult, especially, and I'll play, because I'm a man, I can play this side, that if you're having erectile dysfunction, you probably don't, that's not the first thing you do is go to your wife and say, I'm having an issue. No, you just start avoiding it so you don't have to deal with it. And then she thinks, he's having an affair, or he's not interested in me, or he doesn't want to be intimate.
Is this the old adage of it's not you, it's me?
I mean, it could be, but it's not verbalized that way. It's again, we go back to communication. And it's very difficult for men to kind of admit they have an issue. The pride gets in the way or whatever.
Sure.
Because my wife don't want to hear that.
Well, most wives don't want to hear that their husband's having an issue because.
So I'm not going to tell.
Well, why? So help me understand why you don't want to tell me.
Because men are insecure.
And that's a man's livelihood.
So what, to be able to perform in bed?
Of course. That's
her emotional livelihood. Right.
But that's the definition of a man.
You could be a stud in your 20s, but when you hit your 30s, 40s, and 50s, and then you're taking a blue pill in your 60s, you still have resources for you to not be able to communicate your needs to a partner.
No, but you're talking in common sense world.
I am.
And
I'm a very common sense person.
But that's not how people interact. That's not how they communicate.
Yeah. It's very difficult for me to understand.
People have a very difficult time admitting when there's something wrong.
Exactly.
Especially that, because it's a threat to males' manhoods.
It is.
And that's why they don't bring it up, or they don't talk about it.
Imagine a woman that you marry.
I was married for 22 years. Was married for 22 years. I know I'm in a glorious partnership right now with a young lady, and it's fantastic. But those 22 years were difficult. So go on.
Yeah. So my point being is that so let's run with that example. A man's having erectile dysfunction. He doesn't tell his wife. He's beating himself up for it. Like, oh, I'm not good anymore. But the woman doesn't know what he's thinking. So now she thinks I'm not attractive anymore. He's not into me.
Exactly.
So I have to do something. Something's wrong with me. And then you just have this divide that just exists. And then both people just go through the motions
of being married.
And I've had couples that I've seen couples in my office, and you're probably same thing, Terica. They haven't had sex in years.
All the time.
Yeah.
All because he's afraid of saying something that might make him feel less than a man. However, I'm also afraid of her response, because this is the I don't want to say the basis of a relationship, but we used to have a lot of sex, and I can't have that.
You start off hot and heavy, and things just happen.
She don't want to hear that.
No.
She's going to go outside and find a man.
Yeah.
Outside of
the relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
But those, again, the lack of communication.
Sure.
Because there are some women who want and may have ideas of, what can I do to help? What do we need to do to help each other?
And that's the man saying that, or is that
the woman?
That's the woman saying that to the man. Okay.
So what happens? So we know it comes down to communication and being open with each other. So let's get into more specific things. And this is we know this show's not for kids, because we have an over 17 rating online. We do, because we talk about sensitive issues on this podcast as far as therapy and hypnosis. So for you, when people come in with an individual issue, I have ED, or I have vaginismus, or I have
vaginismus.
Yeah, it's a it doesn't lubricate.
I was about to say it may be a dry spell.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you for putting that in layman's terms.
So when people come in with physical symptoms like that, do you feel like that's like there's a connection emotionally that's causing that, or do you feel like it could just be physiological?
It could be both.
Mhm.
It actually can be both. As we as people, we grow older, our bodies do change.
Mhm.
Things are not the same as it was as when we were younger. However, sometimes the emotional connection causes these things because of the thoughts that I have controls my body.
Mm.
So if I feel like I'm not attractive, this shouldn't be working anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I
So
can understand that. Yeah.
if I don't feel attractive, then my lady parts doesn't feel attractive. So we're not going to do the things that we're supposed to do when we feel attractive.
On the flip side, the man would feel the same way.
Definitely.
Yeah. If this isn't attractive, then that ain't working.
Well, sure. But then it can also go back and forth because again, if a woman is having a problem with lubrication, then the man feels like, oh, I'm not turning her on.
Exactly.
So
even
I'm
if I
doing something
communicate
wrong.
this with you,
Right.
you still looking at it like you just not attracted to me.
Yeah.
But there are things that can happen to help one another become excited,
well, sure.
Right. And it's just that communication that helps them to understand what each other's bodies need to get to that point.
In order for that to happen, correct me if I'm wrong.
And again, common sense man over
both
here.
both parties need to acknowledge what their part is in it. And
True.
Again, for a man admitting as ED, that's very difficult. For a woman that she has intimacy issues physiologically, that's difficult for her. Because it's an acknowledgement of our humanity. Because
it is.
Because that is not unusual when you get into your 50s and 60s and above.
It's not. And some people who turns 50 and above, their desire is very high.
You mean their sex drive?
Their sex drive is very the desire,
for men and women, or
yes. It doesn't always. The sex drive doesn't always go downhill.
No,
it can. We're older.
Are there peaks and valleys, or is it more peak, and the valley, depending on the partner, just never happens?
It could be.
See, that's what we should strive for as a couple, isn't it?
But we have to do that together.
Yeah.
You can't be peaking and I'm still at the valley.
Right.
So you got to bring your partner along through your peak.
And your partner got to want to come to.
Pun intended. Understood.
Yes, absolutely.
What happened?
Clean out your desk. You're gone.
Right.
So those issues, again, physiological issues, come into play. I know with age, there's a lot of different challenges that come along with it. Let's go back a little bit.
Okay.
Say you're working with a couple, they're in a relationship. One party, doesn't matter which. We can, in fact, genders don't matter in this conversation.
Okay.
Two partners are together.
Fair.
And one partner is, let's say, a little more adventurous than the other partner. And this becomes a point of contention in the relationship.
Okay.
So for you, how would you approach that with both people being in the room?
How would I approach that?
You want to think about it?
No, because I love activities. So when I do have a couple in front of me and they have the sex drive and they want to have sex with each other, however, one is more adventurous than the other.
Sure.
Let's talk about it. When you say you're adventurous, in what way? Let your partner know that you want to try new things. You want to try new positions. However, the woman then starts feeling like, but he's going to think I'm a freak, that all I think about is sex. All I want is sex, or that I'm having sex with somebody else who has piqued my interest somewhere else.
Okay.
So again, it's that conversation. I tell a lot of couples, don't just talk about sex when it's not happening. Let's talk about sex when it's fun. Let's talk about sex after
when you're
sex.
in the throes of it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you want?
And like debrief afterwards.
Yes. Was it good? Should I did something different? Are you ready to use that toy?
See, that's interesting because a lot of folks I just want to cuddle and just enjoy the quietness and the togetherness at that point. but to have a discussion as to what would you have liked me to do more of? Is that a question?
But I feel like that's something.
It can be.
I mean, it should.
right.
It should be.
All
I
right.
think. But I feel like this is something that happens in the beginning of relationships.
However,
more often than it does
more so now
in an established
Sure.
relationship.
But when you're in that established relationship, if it's been the same old for how many years, and you want to spice it up, now you should start asking those questions. What could I have done differently?
When I hear that scenario, here's where my mind goes.
Okay.
Correct me. We've been doing the same thing for years. Let's spice it up. Then one of the partners is going to be like, oh shit, he or she's looking for something different or more or something I can't
But that's
give.
fine.
Okay. Yeah.
It's fine that she
Sure.
that one or the other partner has
right.
that. What is this person looking for?
But that's again going back to the communication. They're starting to talk about what could I have done differently, or what can we do more of that would spice this up.
Well, but then the challenge comes, and again, I'm just throwing in a monkey wrench into this, because what if one partner says, I want to have a threesome, and the other partner is like, definitely not.
I can give you something
Total
else.
impasse.
Okay. You don't have an extra person. What else could I give you?
Okay,
Right.
so we need to save that for the next episode.
No, we're going to start on that because we are going to come back. Tarika's with us for 2 episodes, and we are going to come back, and we're going to start off with that one right
Okay.
off the bat. I'm teasing you.
Pun intended.
It's crazy.
Sexy time.
So before we go, folks, we are going to be back. Those on Facebook Live, stick around. We're going to be doing another episode. Those of you on audio, whatever platform you're on, skip ahead to the next episode. If it's not there, it will be there next Tuesday or Thursday.
Thank you.
All right. Before we go, somebody needs a home.
Who dat?
Bella.
Bella needs a home.
Bella's a Yorkie mix. She's a female, 15 pounds. She's dog friendly, cat friendly, unknown. She
Always,
prefers
yeah.
adults.
She prefers adults.
Yes,
Bella,
so kids.
Okay. She doesn't like
She was
kids.
born in 2020, so she's probably about 4 or 5 years old. But Bella
Come
is
on.
here.
Look at Bella. Look at that. I can understand why she doesn't like cats very much, because she's as big as a cat.
Well, she's only 15 pounds.
Yeah.
So
Bella,
She
if you
wants
want to take a look.
She wants all the attention. She really does.
So Bella is looking for a
I'm not
home.
dog person.
What's that?
I'm not a dog person.
You're not? Are you a cat person?
I'm not an animal person at all.
That's fair. We'll talk about in the next episode.
But Bella needs a home, somebody.
Bella needs a home. She's adorable, though.
What in blazes are you talking about?
What the fuck are you doing? So anyway, Bella needs a home. DetroitDogRescue.com/adopt. She wants to be on your lap.
Yes.
I'm just looking at you like that. All righty, folks. That is our episode. Change your thinking, change your life, laugh hard, run fast, be kind. We'll see you next time. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're all good.
This is the in between
This is
shows.
This is the behind the scenes.
Behind the
of a
scenes of
podcast.
the Motor City Hypnotist. All right. Are you ready?
Let's roll.
All right, here we go.
In this episode of the Motor City Hypnotist Podcast, we are back with our special guest, Tarika Lewis, licensed professional counselor and certified sex therapist. And we're having a great time having a conversation. We're learning things. We're going to have another session. So hang in there, folks. We'll be right
We're
back.
so going to communicate.
This sounds like something for the authorities in Detroit.
Well, joke's on you. I'm living to 102 and then dying, like the city of Detroit.
Guys like this take over here out of Detroit.
Spawn in the hellfires of Motown. Take him to Detroit.
No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please! Anything but that! No!
Stationed in Drambuie. It's worse than Detroit.
We did not have, as a unit, the confidence that we felt like we needed to beat Detroit.
Let's go to Detroit. Now you're talking, brother.
I don't think so. He plays for Detroit now.
Do they have many farms in Detroit?
Detroit. It's in Michigan.
I go to school. I know where Detroit is.
Get ready for the Motor City hypnotist, David R. Wright, originating from the suburbs of Detroit, Michigan. He has hypnotized thousands of people from all over the United States. David R. Wright has been featured on news outlets all across the country and is the clinical director of an outpatient mental health and hypnosis clinic located just south of Detroit, where he helps people daily using the power of hypnosis. Welcome, the Motor City hypnotist, David R. Wright.
What is going on, my friends? This is David Wright, the Motor City Hypnotist, and we are back with another episode of the Motor City Hypnotist podcast. We are here in the palatial Podcast Your Voice Southfield studios, hanging out on a Monday evening, doing a podcast, having a drink. We have a special guest with us also. It's a great night.
You don't have a producer. I'm sorry.
I do. You're there, man. I got it. I know how to work the thing. Somehow or another. I didn't mess it up. So
taught you well.
Yeah, you did. You did. You're a good teacher.
You're very good.
So let me tell you first where you can find me, folks. My website is motorcityhypnotist.com. Especially now, we're in prom and grad season. When you're hearing this, you're probably approaching one or the other in your school. If you're in a family committee, reach out, go right to the website. You can have a quote in minutes without ever talking to anybody, and you can book it online. Easy peasy. Reserve your spot. It's a pretty busy season, but I do have some openings. So reach out if you have any questions. My social media, Facebook and YouTube, are both Motor City Hypnotist. Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok are all Motor City Hypno, HYPNO.
Is TikTok still a thing?
It's still out there. I mean, it's still there.
All right.
I mean, I'm not super active on it, but I know.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it's another way to reach people. So, and free hypnosis guide. Text the word hypnosis to 313-800-8510. We have done this all the way back to episode number 1, and we're on episode 304 tonight.
That's crazy.
I know, it's crazy. It's bizarre.
We are Sparta +4.
Text that hypnosis to that number, 313-800-8510. Within a few minutes, you'll get a text message with your hypnosis guide attached and also a link to leave a review. You can leave a review of the podcast. You can leave a review of one of my shows. You can leave a review if you've seen me as a client. All of those apply. It's all the same business.
Fair.
Leave a review. It greatly helps us out and helps me out as far as the algorithms. Crazy algorithms. And the important thing, whatever your platform you're listening on to the podcast, please link, connect, subscribe, whatever you do on your platform, and also leave a review there, because we want to build our audience. We want to get to more people. We want to grow our audience.
I want to add to that.
Yes.
And if you enjoy what you're hearing and the content and the commiseration that we have with one another,
commiseration,
share with your friends.
Share with your friends. Yeah, absolutely.
I was at an appointment today and I shared the heck out of this. And I'm like, hey, you need to listen to this show because it's fun. It's intriguing. It's a couple of middle-aged guys just, talking about things and hypnotism and all the great things that are out there.
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Like this in the background. What the fuck is it with you?
It's nothing.
No, it's good. It's all good. That's much appreciated, Matt. I do love it. I love that you do that.
My dental hygienist.
Leave a review, and hopefully your dental hygienist will come and listen.
Oh, good for you.
Shannon, please join me.
So it is time.
How winning is done.
All right.
Okay,
David.
we're going to have another story about a good story. All these stories are typically good and inspirational and feel good. Often they leave us asking a lot of questions. That's okay. That's okay.
That's okay.
An 81-year-old restaurant server named Betty in Pittsburgh must have been smiling the rest of her shift. A woman had given her an outsized $40 tip. She might have thought this was the end of their interaction, but Betty could not have imagined what that $40 tip would lead to.
Okay.
Tammy Conzier, a Pittsburgh-based esthetician and TikToker, had taken her son Leo to eat at a local restaurant called Eaton Park. And when she heard Betty confide to another customer that she struggled to finish out her shifts from back pain, but couldn't retire due to financial difficulties.
81 years old.
The small $910 Social Security check in the mail wasn't enough. So this 81-year-old's getting $910 a month for Social Security, working as a waitress. Already, it's just like, ugh.
Go on.
Moved by Betty's plate, Conzier whipped out her phone and pressed record. If I make one video go viral, let this be the one.
Mm-hmm.
Describing to her fans Betty's situation, she announced she'd give any proceeds that her TikTok creator rewards program might generate from the post to Betty, and post-scripted the video by offering Betty $40 or all the money in my purse. Betty was moved and grateful and assured Cozier that even at 81, she can still outdo all these young whippersnappers.
Oh, wow.
Conzier got her wish. The post went viral. Within 24 hours, she had received so many requests for a place to donate that she had to set up a GoFundMe to channel the generosity.
Perfect.
Wow.
How much was raised?
At $140,000.
Amen,
She
brother.
went to tell Betty the news.
Amen to that.
I think I better get a financial advisor, Betty said, clearly stunned. You don't know what this is going to help me for. Conzier posted a couple of updates on the situation, and every time the GoFundMe swelled until it reached $300,000.
How long ago was this?
Like April.
Okay, so this
I don't
month.
have a date.
This month.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Go on.
I cannot express how grateful Betty is for her retirement fund, Conzier wrote in the final update on the fundraiser. My lawyer, Max Petrunia, and I have set up Betty with an elder law attorney, Colin Morgan of Julian Gray Associates. We are in the process of setting up a trust fund for Betty so her social services are not affected. Thank you again for your donations. We expect this fund to we expect to close the fund me at the end of April.
Okay, fair.
Yep. So it
But
just happened.
She's over $300,000 from a post on the TikTok.
Yes.
From a person she had in the restaurant.
Yes. From a patron.
From a patron
Yep.
who was a TikToker and an
Yep.
influencer.
Yep.
They said, hey, if you can do this,
Uh-huh.
that's incredible.
Yes.
And all the proceeds.
So Betty,
all the proceeds go to-
$300,000. But even to add to that, she also hooked them up with an elder law attorney to handle this,
Right.
to put it in a trust so that her Social Security income's not affected.
I was about to say, because if you make so much money,
Right.
Social
Yes.
Security.
So they got an attorney working to work that out. So that
How
she
much is
wouldn't
the
lose her-
attorney going to cost?
Well, see, I don't know, because I mean, at
you're
that point, it
taking
doesn't
half
matter,
my money.
right? But you're still, even so, you're still
It's-
way ahead. I mean,
Okay,
You
so do I
are.
retire? Did she retire?
It doesn't say. It doesn't say
From
she's.
the
there are
restaurant?
so
That's
many
the question.
questions.
That is the
I
question.
would have.
There's always a
Because
question
I know I'm
on
not
these
making that much
stories.
money.
Well, she's 81.
Exactly.
So
And
you
how
could-
much is her
that's going to
tips?
last.
And
for a
she's in
while.
Pittsburgh. And come on.
It's $300,000. She's 81.
But 81, someone hired her still?
Well,
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, unless she's been doing it for a long time, it doesn't say how long she's been working there. So I don't know.
She may have retired, a number of years earlier and already been there.
But there's some good, vibrant 81-year-olds.
There are
Mhm.
some beautiful, vibrant 81-year-olds. Yeah.
So, okay. Maybe.
Yeah,
it could work.
and there were no photos in this story, so I couldn't see I couldn't get a visual. Of what
This
she
is
looked
why
like.
I love Winner of the Week.
I know.
Because it sparks so many other questions.
Well, and they're great stories, but we want more.
Yeah.
And we've
course.
talked about this, Matt, and I've dropped the ball on this for years.
We got to get these people
I
on
want
the
to contact
show.
these people and get them on.
Oh,
That's our goal is to get some of these winners on and
Yeah.
talk to them.
that'd be nice.
Because I think it'd be
And
great. The people who initiated it, the people who benefited, that would be a great. So
Just to continue
I
Questions to be
promise,
answered.
I'm going to put it out there right now with witnesses. I promise I will work on this.
questions will be answered.
We'll
Just in
talk.
general.
We'll talk offline because
Absolutely.
I want to help you, and I always want to be a
Fantastic.
proponent of that. And go on.
Look at you being
So
I'm so supportive.
Yes, you are.
Oh, good.
Shut up. You don't know me.
That is our winner of the week.
That's how winning is done.
Yes, it is.
So, back to it.
All right. So we need to.
So here we are.
We need to
We're-
continue to
We are.
communicate here.
We are going to communicate. Terica Lewis is with us, licensed professional counselor, certified sex therapist. That is the correct title, correct?
Yes.
Just making sure.
Yes,
Make sure
yes.
I'm saying it correctly.
Yes.
So we ended up last session, and if you haven't listened to last session, jump back one.
He said,
or you can watch it now, or jump back and listen to that one later. So we were talking to Terica, who's a certified sex therapist, and we ended last session with because we talked about communication is really the underlying theme of a lot of this. But we talked about when people have how about different sexual preferences, let's say, and when you put those two people together, how do you navigate that? And the example I brought up was, what if one person says, I want to do a threesome, and the other one is like, no way.
Yeah.
So how would you, just in general, if that was just the first thing that came out, how would you go about addressing that?
Why is that something you want? And why is that something you want with her?
That's a loaded question.
But
to
however,
ask why.
it is, because some people just want it because they never had it.
That escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
And it does.
It does, yes.
It does. Because why do you want this now? After all these years we've been together, why another person in our bedroom is something that you want? What are you missing from me?
The bedroom is a sacred space, and to bring a stranger to the partner,
well, it might be somebody they know.
It could be.
It could be, but
But
what
it's
if
a
it
stranger
was,
in the bedroom.
It's a stranger in the bedroom,
Sure.
but what if it's someone that they both know? And
Well, that actually has happened. That happens quite a
happens all
bit.
the time.
Yeah,
It's somebody they know already.
That's so strange to me for someone that I'm interested in bringing this individual into the bedroom. It's a sacred space that these two individuals have shared together, one on one.
For a lot of people, though, it's more like I'm trying to think of a way to describe it. It's almost like a playground where we can invite whoever we want.
And
for
it
some
becomes
people, that is the
comfortable because
place.
I know the person, opposed to it being a stranger.
Right.
Yeah. Is it easier if it's just a stranger or if it's somebody that they both know?
I think there's more risk if it's
think-
somebody they know.
It depends on the couple.
That's fair.
Because whether it's a stranger or somebody we know, there's still a lot of, how do I know you're not contacting that person behind my back?
Right.
So here and
now for the man, when y'all having tea, is that all y'all really having?
Right. Well, and I've had this situation. I mean, we've been doing this. I've been doing it for 32 years. You've been doing it for over 20. So, these situations come up, and I've talked to clients about this, and a lot of times, here's what happens. I think that you can be, I guess, have multiple partners if both parties, but here's the thing.
That's
if
so
both,
promiscuous, though.
But it can work in very certain situations. Now, here's the problem, though. There has to be complete trust and communication and openness. And the problem that is that many people start to bring other parties in, and they're not at that place.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
So it could work if both parties were both equally invested and open and communicative and accepting. But oftentimes one party wants it more than the other, and the other one kind of acquiesces because of the other person's desire.
It could. However, they also look for that person who's open to that, opposed to someone who they think is open to it, where it starts off. A lot of couples like to hang out, date. You hang out with her, you hang out with him, we hang out together so that we can really get to know each other and see if this really what you can deal with, what you can handle.
And I believe, again, I think according to my limited mind, it's very rare that works, because most people don't have a trusting, honest, open relationship.
It's not really rare.
No.
It does work.
Okay.
It worked for those who want it to work.
Right.
And it's really common. It's not rare.
So let me ask it a different way. Is it I think the act itself is common, bringing another person in or multiple people in.
Okay.
But I think a majority of times it doesn't work out ideally. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it works because all parties want it to work.
Okay.
There's a lot of parties who I want this to be this way because we started off communicating. We started off trusting each other. We started here. So there's a lot. We may not know about a lot of them because a lot of people don't talk about it. Because
that's true.
What are you going to think of me if I told you I had?
That's a great point, Terica, because when people come in to see me and they're having issues, typically, let's say they've had partners in or other people in, but it was never a solid relationship to begin with. So you're just adding fuel to a fire there.
Right. And I think the terminology, and to be a layman, swingers.
Yes.
Okay. That's a swinger mentality, right?
Yep.
They bring other folks into their bedroom and they have a good time with one another. But typically those aren't folks that they just know. Those are folks that they just bring in that are strangers.
Yes, because that's all about sex.
Right.
Swinging is just about sex.
Okay.
However, throuples and not threesomes, but the terms to have a relationship becomes different, and swinging is not a relationship.
Okay. All right. So, and that's where I'm trying to understand the difference between swinger mentality and throuples, you said?
Throuples. They call them triads.
Yeah,
There's
right.
many different
Sure.
terms for these different types of relationships. However, those are the terms for relationships. Swingers are the terms for, hey, we having drinks tonight?
Yeah.
Right.
Let's go.
Let's have drinks tonight.
Right.
We
right.
already know where
even-
it's going to end up.
Sure.
But even with the swinging, the sex, because again, that's based solely on a physical interaction.
Yes, it
for
is.
in most cases. But that even there has to be some level of trust and communication with your partner, because one partner might be like 100% gung ho and the other one's like 40% and be like, I'm just going to do it because
this is what
he or she wants.
I enjoyed the turkey sandwich. It was great.
But I don't want it all the time.
Right. Yeah. So that comes and that kind of leads me into another thing as far as like extramarital relationships. Why do you think people have affairs? That's a very broad general term. It happens all the time.
Can I take that question and kind of turn it around?
Sure.
Why do you think individuals in a relationship think their partner or husband or wife are having an affair?
I still hear two different questions. So
Okay.
Right.
They are two
Why-
different questions.
Okay. So why do people have affairs? Many different reasons. It could be financially, it could be physical, it could be it could be a whole lot of reasons. It could be just the mindset for right now. Most people that have affairs, they want them to last if the wife doesn't know. But once they find out, some of them want to rekindle this over here.
Yeah.
Some people only rekindle it because the other opposite sex, because the partner finds out.
Right.
So it makes them more interested. It starts over. It becomes new again. Your question.
My question was why is it that individuals think that their partner or husband or wife may be having an affair?
Because we're not doing anything.
Mm.
We may be having sex, but we're not going to the show. We may be having sex, but we're not outside as much as we were when we first met. We may not be having sex at all. The financials is so messed up. We're about to lose our house and you're not touching me. You must be having an affair.
Yeah.
Just the physical touch in a relationship is so incredibly important.
Very.
In my experience, when you walk by someone and touch their butt, right? You walk by them and it's just a gentle, nudge across their butt. That is a emotional, that is a physical touch.
It can be. Now, here's where I'm going to throw you a curveball.
He throws a lot of wrenches.
I do.
He does. I love it.
So, and I've had a lot of this just is based on the population, but more women go to therapy than men. So I have a lot of experience talking to women over the last 32 years. A lot of them don't like the groping, the grabbing, but the men think that's a sign of affection.
Yes.
And they've never said anything that really bothers me. But for the man, it's just like, oh, it's because I'm into you. I find you attractive.
That's
But-
where my mentality is at. I walk by and I grope your butt or I touch your butt as I walk
I'm
by.
not
I'm not
Stop slapping
squeezing.
me.
Yeah, no, I'm not squeezing your ass. I'm just a gentle, like I walk by.
Okay,
and
so let me put it in a different light, because this is a question I ask couples when I have couples all the time. I'm like, take sex out of it for the time being. What other physical things do you do together? When you watch TV, do you sit together or do you sit on separate sides of the room? When you drive in the car, do you hold hands?
Sure.
When you're going for a walk, do you put your arms around each
So
other?
physical touch does not necessarily mean you're touching my body parts that
Exactly.
in a
initiate
sexual
sex.
way.
Yes,
right.
correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
That's what I'm trying to get to here.
Yes.
So, but when you're walking past me in the kitchen and I'm cooking and you slide your hand through, I still feel like you're gonna have sex tonight.
Yeah, no, but see,
And
that's
okay. That's understood.
right. But see, that's where
But when we was at the park, he wouldn't
disconnect
hold my
comes in,
hand.
right?
All right.
But that tells me a lot, because if couples say, yeah, we watch TV every night, but he sits in a chair and I sit in a chair on this side of the room, and that's not necessarily a bad thing in and of itself, but if there's no like intimate connection aside from sex, that's where I see a problem a lot of
It
times.
is.
Because the only time they become physical is when they have sex.
Mm-hmm.
And one or the other party
Wants
eventually wants more, or the other one just doesn't feel it because they don't get it
Any other time,
the
other than-
23 hours of
Right.
the day that are left.
23?
Or the 23 hours and 59 minutes that are left.
That's all you get is one.
That depends on your age.
That's
man.
it. Exactly.
Shooting blanks.
He's
What?
a 2-minute brother.
Boy,
That escalated quickly. That really got a hand fast.
What happened?
No,
Yes.
but your point is taken.
Yes.
Is absolutely taken. It's not a sexual contact. It's more of a, I'm thinking of you and I just love how you feel.
So I can bring up like a couple of specific examples. And this is something, even though my parents divorced when I was 8, I remember distinctly as a child, them standing in the living room or the kitchen and just being embraced in a hug.
Yeah.
No kissing, no, just a hug. And I saw that a lot growing up, which is unusual because they did get divorced, but totally different story. But as a child, you just see that and it's like, oh, there's, there was nothing creepy or weird about it. It just was kind of nice. And I think a lot of couples don't have intimacy outside of sex.
Because intimate in some married couples mean sex. Intimate doesn't mean a conversation. Intimacy doesn't mean an outing. Intimacy doesn't mean what. When people think of the word intimacy, they automatically relate that to sex.
Intimacy is a conversation.
It is.
Intimacy is how somebody makes you feel when you're not with them. Intimacy is a conversation that you have with yourself about that other individual.
Yeah. Yes.
And again, common sense thinking.
Hey, he's the
here.
common sense guy.
Yeah.
Well, no, exactly.
But the intimacy to me is, you enjoy being next to somebody, whether you're watching television, whether you're in a car with somebody, you're holding each other's hand on a walk or what have you. It's the togetherness.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be intercourse. It doesn't have to be the sexual.
In an
part of
ideal
it.
world, and I agree, that is true, but but in this world, many people don't think that way because they've not.
Is it more of a they're not mature enough to think about it that way, or
just think it based on your upbringing and your
I was
experiences.
about to say, but back in the day, intimacy wasn't a thing. It was hidden. Sex was even hidden. It wasn't a conversation. It's nothing that a lot of parents taught their kids to have and to know about. So as we grow up and teach ourselves, intimacy means sex. He likes me because we have sex.
She likes me because we have sex.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so now I don't know what intimacy means unless we're having intercourse.
Right.
Yep.
And
Right.
it's not about the verbal communication.
And it's not
the
just about
physical
hugging
action.
in the kitchen.
Right. Right.
If we're not actually having intercourse, then I don't know what intimacy is.
Well, and that is the big challenge, because that for most people, it's sex. That sex is the only physical interaction they have.
So can we kind of turn what I do as a sex therapist?
Yes,
please.
Even in a relationship, married couples, if I have grew up and this is what sex and this is what intimacy has to mean to me, and now I'm learning, and now I'm with you, and I decide that I don't want to do it no more, then there's a fine line between, am I only having sex with this person because this is what I know? And if I say no, what does that mean for my partner?
Yeah, and no is a big word.
But I'm afraid to say no, because all my friends or past relationships lied to me because of it. So now I'm married, I'm still afraid to say no.
But the word no is still a big word. And
Very.
it means so many different connotations to who I'm with.
Yes, it does.
And go on, Dave.
But to add to that, somebody says no, there's a reason. Now, it doesn't, if you're the partner and not the person saying no, at that point, it doesn't matter what the reason is.
If
the person says no, you respect it. But here's the typical interaction. Now, I'm gonna pick gender sides, unfortunately, because this is what we see more often. Men want sex, women withhold it, men get pissed. And that is just so unfair, because you're saying you have a duty. That's really what they're saying.
And you can't
regardless
say no to
of
me.
what you think.
I'm gonna say fuck you to that.
Well, no, I agree, which you should. That shouldn't happen.
It
But
shouldn't.
that is really what happens in many relationships, is that women do it out of obligation. They don't enjoy it. They don't want to do it, but they feel like if they don't do it, he's going to be mad or he's going to do something else.
So let's go back to your question. Why do
people have affairs?
People have affairs.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's being withheld at home, so I'll go somewhere else and get it.
Sure.
What he or she won't do, somebody else will.
Only for a time being.
Of course, only for a time being.
Because this is
But
the
that's
outcome.
That's
I'm
one of
telling
those
you.
reasons why.
I've seen this I can probably say hundreds of times. Man or woman, either one. I'm not getting what I want at home. I go out and get it. That one falls apart. That one gets angry. Now I got to find another one. And it ends up just being the cycle of searching, and you're never going to get what you want because you're not happy with yourself.
Yeah.
That's the point. That's the whole underlying thing.
But I don't know that.
Right.
I don't know that. That's why I'm doing that. I don't know that I'm not happy because I have everything that I need. I have everything I want. I really should be happy. So I'm not happy though, but I don't know that. I'm not going to tell my significant other that. So
it's a difficult conversation to want to have.
I mean, they should have it.
Yeah, but
I mean, ideally.
Yeah, it's difficult.
And they should have it, but do they want to have it?
No.
Yeah,
that's
the problem.
The emotions from that gets in the way of having that
Right.
conversation.
Yeah. And again, this comes back to insecurity. And again, I'm going to make another general statement.
Insecurity. The word insecurity is a trigger word for a lot of men because
and that's what I'm saying. And here's the
and
scenario.
women, but
and women.
But it manifests differently. With men, they feel insecure, but they don't express it as insecurity. They express it as anger.
Yes.
And that you're not responding to me. You're the wrong one.
They may express it as codependency at the same time. Let's be honest. Their insecurities could be codependent, and it may sound codependent. Okay. I'm just throwing that out there.
No, it could, but the big thing is, I probably have said this to you, Terica, at some point. I want to do a men's group or I want to write a book, something with men to say, like, grow a pair. That's what I want it to be called. It's like, listen, stop being so wishy-washy, non-committal, blah, blah, just going with the flow. Take control, manage something, because typically, again, generalization, Women are the managers of the households.
They are.
They pay the bills, they take care of the kids, they make the schedule, they decide where you're going, all of that. And I say to men, I'm like, you want to get laid? Tell your wife, pack this. We're going away this weekend. I've already made arrangements for the kids. Don't worry about anything. Just be ready to leave at 6 p.m. Friday night. I will pick you up.
Now you're just controlling me, David.
No. But I'm telling you, most women would swoon.
It turns that.
Most women would just fall over and be like, oh my God, this is fantastic.
Really? Will they?
Absolutely.
Well, there's the twos and fews that feel like you're just gonna tell me what I'm doing. I haven't got my hair done. You ain't not preparing me for anything. You just want me to get up and go.
Yeah,
now
I get that.
So
I do get
for
that.
my week. I can't. No, I don't have the time.
But I'm telling you, if you don't usually do that and you did that, your partner would be blown away.
But if
from
you
a woman's point of view, yes, I would be like, I didn't have to do nothing.
Yes,
Pack my
that's the
bags?
point.
Oh
That's
my
the
God.
point. Yes.
However,
yeah.
if I like that person,
Right. Well, I mean that
I gotta go to work.
That's
I
kind
can't
of a
take,
given.
I can't take these days off. Even if I am married, I still gotta like the person to allow that to happen.
understandably, sure.
You so need to come back to the Motor City
Yes,
Hypnotist
yes.
podcast.
You do need. We'll do another couple sessions with Terica.
So this is what happens. Sometimes we'll get into a topic, and it might be a 1 or 2 episode. It turns into a 3 or 4
or 6 or 8.
I enjoy it.
Oh no, there are times we've started. It's like 2 episodes, and then we're in episode 8. And
Yeah,
we're like,
yeah.
we got we had to get down into it.
Yeah.
And one episode leads into another one, leads into another one. So it's
But
totally
I
natural.
do get that because sex is not just about what we talked about, and we've mostly touched on couples. There's there's a whole
and that's
umbrella.
that's
why it turns into so many different episodes.
And I was going to ask a question. I'm holding off because we're about out of time tonight, but we're going to have you back because I wanted to get into I'm coming back. Yes, like fetishes and things like this that society sees as, I don't know, immoral or weird or abnormal.
Right.
Yeah. But I want to get into that area.
Fuck the normal. Come on.
I'm just
What's
saying.
normal?
Yeah,
But see,
exactly.
that's the whole thing. But you say, is there a normal person out there? I tell clients this all the time. They're like, I just want to be normal. I'm saying normal
What is
doesn't
that?
exist.
What is what?
Normal-
Explain that.
So
normal
when people say I
exist.
want to be normal, I say, well, what is weird?
Yeah, exactly. No,
It's
no,
almost the same
exactly.
thing. Like, they're gonna think I'm weird. What's that?
Yeah. But this is like this psychological block that people have. It's like they want to conform, they want to be liked, and it's like, just be your own person.
Yeah, be you.
I don't know.
Handle your own business, for goodness sakes. Come
I don't
on.
know what that is. My husband controlled all parts of my life. I don't know who I am.
Okay, so help me understand a little bit more about why you feel that way.
He pays the bills. He goes to work.
So?
He does it all. I don't know what to do
What
unless
do
he
you-
tell me.
What do you do to make you happy?
I make sure dinner is done when he get off work.
I don't care.
Does that make you happy?
Heck, no.
There you go.
What's good?
No.
What do you want?
Exactly.
What will you cook to make you happy?
No, he likes chicken.
I don't care what he likes. What do you like?
Oh, I'm cooking what I like.
All right, here we
Oh,
go.
okay, there.
See, that's where the
But how
that's where the
often we
conversation
get lost.
starts.
There's a
right?
lot of women
Yes.
and men
Yes.
who get lost in
Uh-huh.
the role that we play in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship because we think that, okay, I hate this. Happy life, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, happy house, happy spouse.
I
Yeah,
know.
you know,
Yeah.
come on. Like,
Yeah,
I want to be
right.
happy in this situation too.
Everyone has to be happy. Everybody has to understand how to be happy.
Everybody got to understand what makes themselves happy.
See, most people don't know that. That's the problem.
Oh.
You ask 100 people, 80 of them would have no idea.
And if you're with a partner and a spouse that's on the same page as you,
It's so
'cause
much fun.
it's a blast.
Mhm.
It's an
is.
absolute riot.
And but here's the thing: you could be in a relationship that's long term. You could be on the same page and drift apart and come
And
back.
come back.
Sure,
drift
yeah.
apart,
Yeah.
come
There's
back.
peaks and valleys.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I need some time to take to myself so that when I come back here, we're still good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, Erica, you're coming back because I have like
I enjoyed it.
I have
I'm
so
coming
much
back.
more to even talk about, but we ran out of time. So yes, you're coming back.
Okay.
All righty, folks. Terica will be back with us. In the meantime, okay, Facebook Live, we're done for tonight. Before we go, somebody needs a home.
Who is that?
Flurry.
Flurry.
Like
Flurry?
McDonald's Flurry.
Oh, come on. He's a pity mix.
Yeah.
Is that- is
mixed
it-
breed,
Yeah.
spayed female, 45 pounds.
Go on.
He prefers to be the only dog.
Okay.
Wow.
Alpha
Unknown
male. All right.
cats. He prefers adult as friends. So no kids, no
No kids.
cats.
How old is
He is born in 2023. So
he's
2
a
years
year
old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. he's-
Somebody come get Flurry.
All right. So Flurry is beautiful. He looks like a vanilla Flurry.
Yeah.
Legit,
Yeah.
with a little
Isn't
bit.
that a great name?
Yes. With a little bit of chocolate. Come on. My camera's not even.
Oh,
on
your
me.
camera. You have your camera.
Well,
on.
whatever.
There you go, man.
Come on.
Good job.
Wow. Flurry needs a home.
Flurry does need a home.
fuck are you
I don't know. Flurry is okay. So Flurry is a beautiful looking puppy.
This is a mess.
No, he's beautiful. He's
No,
four-
it's a good looking
Why you
dog.
keep showing me that picture?
because you need a puppy in your life.
I do not.
Terica's just not.
I know you're not. I
I know Terica. She is not an animal person. Okay, Terica, just real quick. I know we're close to being done.
Uh-huh.
Would you ever have a dog in your bed?
Never. In my bed?
Yeah.
It can barely come in my house. You're talking about my bed. Unless we're talking about some of these men I've been.
Them dogs.
I've had a couple of dogs.
Okay, so they have been in your bed then. Anyway,
And that's DAWGS. Dogs. All right.
All right. Flurry needs a home. DetroitDogRescue.com/adopt. All righty, folks.
Oh,
Thanks for
man.
joining us. Terica will be back. This has been fun, informative. We're going to do more. In the meantime, change your thinking, change your life, laugh hard, run fast, be kind. We'll see you next time.